of your 80s music made by a legendary trio. Oh, I have a TV show for you, the ultimate Stock Aitken Waterman Top 40. And today is the final countdown there, counting down from 10 till 1. Hayley Palmer is the TV presenter behind it from Fareham, and she can tell us a little bit more about this, alongside Mike of Stock Aitken and Waterman. Hi, pleasure to have you both on, Mike and Hayley. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you, Lucy. It's great to be here.
Oh, Mike, let's start with you. I mean, this musical countdown that's gone from 40 down to 1, which we're going to get the big reveal of the big one today, voted for by the fans. Did the fans get it right?
Well, look, you've got to love the fans. They make their own choices and do their own thing. I will say it's surprising. A few choices have really shocked me. Of course, I do know what the top 10 is, but I still think it's going to come as a bit of a surprise, because I'll watch it myself this evening as it goes out. And, some odd things in there, but the number one is probably not the one everyone thought it might be.
Oh, interesting. Okay. It's not the one that you would put at the number one spot, or is it not the number one that would have sold the most and had all the chart history?
Well, you see, that's the point about the chart, really. This is not being interfered with by statistics from chart companies or sales figures from record labels who want to pump up their product one way or the other. This is purely a fan's choice. So none of those things comes into the question. So they made their decision. I go along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Stock Aitken and Waterman, I mean, huge legacy, the three of you in music. What was the magic, or what is the magic behind the three of you together? What happens when you're in the room together?
Well, we didn't find a little lantern that we had to rub or something.
Are you sure?
Well, Pete Waterman was on the business side. We brought different skills, I think, to the team. I was always a songwriter, Matt Aitken, musician and writer with me, and we produced the records in a studio context where we built our own team. So we were a really fine-tuned engine by the time we got to sort of 1985, 86. And anything that was thrown at us, we could cope with. I could, as long as I knew I had my staff there, my engineer there, the studio was operating, I could sit down at a keyboard and within a couple of hours come up with a song and get the music going. So I suppose the only thing that I'd say but that belied all the years of experience that I'd acquired from a very young age writing songs, as well as going out and being a professional musician. I did pubs and clubs. I did every place you can imagine.
Cool. So, Hayley, let's bring you in here. You're presenting the programme today. You're synonymous with 80s music shows. Memory Lane 80s you present on Saturday night with, Nick Kershaw, Sonia, The Fizz, Paul Young. Why is the 80s, why do we hold it so high in that sort of musical decade of music that we love from that time?
Oh, Lucy, I just think it was the greatest decade. I mean, the songs stand the test of time. That's why you hear them still played so much today. I mean, look at the 80s festivals. They're so popular. And I just think they give people really good memories, especially in lockdown. I know a lot of people have been writing to me saying, we've been listening to the 80s songs, and they're just really good time for people.
Yeah, and we sort of reminisce about that time, don't we? Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, a great show to do, isn't it? To work with Stock Aitken and Waterman. That's quite a dream.
Oh, wow, it really is, Lucy. I mean, I grew up buying Jason Donovan, Kylie, Sonia songs. I can remember actually saving up my pocket money and going to Woolworths to buy the cassette of Too Many Broken Hearts, and to actually be presenting the ultimate Stock Aitken Waterman Top 40 is absolute dream come true. I mean, again, for me, it brings back so many memories, and I'm just so glad that I can share that with everyone watching.
Yeah. So you're from Fareham. Last time we spoke, your lounge was being turned into a TV studio. It was all a bit manic, wasn't it? It was sort of the beginning of the pandemic. Is that still the case?
Yes, it's still the case. So, my lounge is currently a TV studio. I'm local in Fareham and making the shows from there currently. Okay. And meanwhile, having my dinner on my lap in the dining room. So
all at the same time. My goodness. So, Mike Stock, what's this about you keeping Kylie waiting once? Is this before you wrote "I Should Be So Lucky"? Is that right?
Yeah, that I've told this story enough times. People still want it confirmed, like it's some kind of invention. No, we didn't know she was in London. That's Matt and me. We were in the studio working on Bananarama and Rick Astley and a few others and Donna Summer. And the businessman came to me and said, "Kylie's in the waiting room. Could you possibly get her in and do the song that you said you'd do?" And I didn't know anything about it. I rang Pete Waterman in Manchester and he'd forgotten about it. So I asked him to sit there and have a cup of coffee, and I just didn't want to embarrass us and let her down. I know we did actually. So we sat in a room. I worked out what we could do. I didn't know much about her singing voice or anything, but I thought, well, I could write this song based on what I could imagine, and we did it. But the point is, it's not as simple as saying, well, yeah, we did it in 40 minutes and then she was on her way, which is true. But I had to bring everything I knew and everything I'd learned over the years. I had to bring it all to bear on that one occasion. I wouldn't want to do it again. Of course, after that was number one for 6 weeks, somebody said, well, what's the follow-up? And I said, I haven't even thought about that. I'll have to go to Melbourne and apologise to her, which I did. I crawled on my hands and knees just to get her to work with us a bit more. But,
Did you know she was going to be such a big star?
No, you see, I didn't know anything about Neighbours at the time, and Neighbours wasn't the big show it became, so not many people had known the name Kylie Minogue, and there's something about her. I mean, you talked about magic earlier. There's something about Kylie which is magic. When she's in the room and she's working like on the music with me, she just sits in the background. She's not pushing herself forward. Nothing's going on. You wouldn't have thought she was a star, but you put her behind the mic, and the magic happens. It's just the way it is with some people. I found that with Donna Summer. I found that with Sir Paul McCartney and Cliff Richard. There's the sort of, these guys have just got magic in them.
Yeah, fantastic. My goodness, we could talk to you all day. Right, the ultimate Stock Aitken and Waterman Top 40 is on ambo.tv at 5 o'clock this afternoon. It's the final countdown, 10 till 1. Come on, throw me something. Throw me something out of that top 10 that makes it in there.
I'm not allowed to say anything, and neither's Hayley.
Hayley,
no,
come
I'll
on.
get sacked. I can't, Lucy. I can't. Tune in at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's probably not the one people think would be the favourite.
Okay, there we go. Keep us thinking. So not going to be Kylie. Oh, I don't know. Lovely to speak to you guys. Thanks so much for coming on BBC Radio Solent. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Mike Stock of Stock Aitken and Waterman and Hayley Palmer, TV presenter from Fareham here on BBC Radio Solent. That was great.